Hi, welcome to Lachlan Likes a Thing, a show where I take a thing and see whether or not I like it. Now this video is going to be a little different because I want to take advantage of a brief window of opportunity I have where I have a number of the better portable options on the market today in terms of headphones, and I just wanted to make a video to compare them. Now the headphones that we have here in this video are the Audio-Technica ES700, the Audio-Technica ES10, the Sony MDR-1R, the Sennheiser inferior, the Sennheiser HD25, the Sennheiser Momentum, the Beyerdynamic DT1350, the Beats Mixr, the Philips L1. And also I've included the Audio-Technica M50 in this video, even though I don't consider this a portable headphone, because I know this is a very popular headphone and a lot of you will be very interested in how it compares to some of these other models. So the point of this video is not to tell you which one of these is the best headphone. I think these are all good headphones, and I think if you took any one of these home, you'd be pretty happy with it. But this video is just going to point out some of the pros and the cons of each one and also give you some idea of how they sound. So the first set of headphones we're going to look at are headphones that I consider to be really good all-rounders. Now these aren't perfect headphones, but I do think that they are good enough as a complete package that the average person, if you took these home, you'd be pretty happy with them. So the first headphone in this category is the Sennheiser Momentum. Now the Sennheiser Momentum is a beautifully built premium headphone. Really nice materials in the build, leather and steel. It's got a nice, warm, authoritative sound. The only bad things I can say about this headphone is that number one, it is probably the most expensive headphone in this comparison. Number two, it doesn't fold up into a more compact shape. So that might be a bit of a problem for some people. And number three, the ear cups are relatively small. So even though they are billed as an around ear headphone, for some people the ear cups might sit on top of your ears. Even then, I still think it's a very comfortable headphone because of these really soft pads, and I do really recommend this headphone. Now, the second headphone in this category as an all-rounder is the Sony MDR-1R. Now, the MDR-1R is probably the most comfortable headphone out of all of these headphones in this comparison. It's got nice big ear cups that sit around the ears really well. It's got a nice warm sound, a big, open, spacious kind of soundstage. The only bad thing I can say about this headphone is that the bass response on this headphone is probably the weakest out of all the headphones in the comparison. Now, it's not completely lacking in bass, but the bass could be tighter. So if you listen to a lot of bassy music, I would perhaps try other headphones or have a listen to this first and just make sure it's right for you. The last headphone that I consider a really good all-rounder is the Audio-Technica ES700. Now this is an amazingly value-priced headphone. It's made in Japan, stainless steel cups, really nice build quality. It's got a nice balanced sound from top to bottom. Overall, really great headphone. The only bad thing about this headphone is that the ear cups are relatively small. This is an on-ear headphone, so it will press against your ears and might not be comfortable after several hours of use. So if you don't like those kind of headphones, you may want to look elsewhere. So the next set of headphones we're going to look at are headphones that I consider to be balanced, neutral sounding headphones. So if having a neutral kind of sound is your top priority, these are the headphones that I would look at. The first is the Beyerdynamic DT1350. Now this is a professional monitoring headphone. And so it has a really detailed neutral sound, maybe a bit lean, but amazingly detailed, really good bass response, really good treble response. The one thing about this headphone is that the reason why I don't consider this to be a fantastic all-round option is because even though the headphone is built really well, the design of this headphone, because of the swiveling ear cups and the spring-loaded split headband, is a little fussy to take on and off the head. The other issue with this headphone I found when I used it was that the adjustment spokes on the side dig into the side of my head, which was not the most comfortable thing. And the last thing is that because of all the little holes inside the headband, if you do have longer hair, these headphones will grab onto it and pull it out, which is not the best thing in the world. So that's really the only reason why. So you might want to try these first just to see if they work for you, because they are fantastic sounding headphones. Now the other headphone that I consider to be really balanced and neutral sounding is the Audio-Technica ES700 again. Now One thing I forgot to mention last time we talked about the ES700 was that these stainless steel cups, even though they're shiny and beautiful, they may scratch. So if you're going to be obsessive about that kind of thing, I might want to avoid these because these might drive you crazy if you want to avoid scratching these cups. The last headphone is the Audio-Technica M50. Now, the M50 is a really popular headphone, and rightfully so. It sounds amazing. It is a professional monitoring headphone with a slightly warmer but still balanced sound. The reasons why I don't consider this to be a great portable headphone is because of the chunky design and the large ear cups. It does tend to stick out quite a bit. It is quite a large headphone. Clamping force on the M50 is quite high, so it's not amazingly comfortable for longer periods of time. And the cable, whether it's the 3-meter straight cable or the coiled cable, is quite heavy. So I don't consider it to be great for portable use when you're just plugging it into a player in your pocket. Other than that though, it's a great headphone. So the next set of headphones that we'll take a look at are the headphones that I consider to be warmer, more kind of mellow sounding headphones. Now these aren't super bassy headphones, but they do sound on the warmer side of neutral. The first of these headphones is the Philips L1. Now the Philips L1 is a great sounding headphone. There are some parts of the sound that I don't quite like. There's got a slight grain or a slight haze to the sound that I'm not a huge fan of, but they are still very decent sounding headphones. Now, two things about the Philips L1 that are, a bit of a con. The first is that the Philips L1 is relatively heavy compared to the other headphones in this comparison. So it doesn't kind of just disappear on your head like some of the other ones. And the other thing is that the L1 is a semi-open design, so it will leak sound out and it will let sound in. So it's not a fantastic headphone if you're going to listen in a lot of noisy environments like trains or planes. So that's something to consider. The next two headphones are the Sennheiser Momentum and the Sony MDR-1R again. Now, these headphones were the first two headphones that I the first two headphones that I reviewed on my channel, and a lot of people have asked me since then which one of these I actually prefer. Now, over time after listening, I've come to think that the Momentum is the technically better headphone. But the Sony MDR-1R does have a bit of a leaner sound that some people prefer. It does have a more open, kind of wide soundstage, and it does fit more people's heads better just because of the large ear cups, so it would probably be more comfortable. But if you are looking at these two, just try them out and see which one you prefer. So the next set of headphones I want to look at are the more aggressive sounding headphones. So these are headphones that are more bassy. They're particularly good if you listen to more beat-focused music like electronic or hip-hop. So if that's something that you're after, these are the headphones I'd recommend. The first two that I want to mention are the Sennheiser HD25 and the Sennheiser Inferior. Now the HD25 is a really punchy, aggressive, fast-sounding headphone. It's really good for fast, kind of bassy music. The HD25 is a professional monitoring headphone that's become quite popular with DJs around the world because of its lightweight, its very, very good reputation for durability, and the fact that every single part of this headphone is replaceable by the user with spare parts. The Sennheiser Inferior is basically the same as the HD25, except with aluminium ear cups that improve the sound a little, just clean up the resonances. And it also has a modular cable that's both thinner and shorter than the standard HD25 cable, so it's more suitable for portable use. It's also got a 2-part cable, so it comes with an iPhone remote. Now the thing about the Sennheiser Inferior is that this is now a discontinued model. So it's being replaced by the HD25 Aluminium Edition, which is basically the same as the HD25 except aluminium ear cups. Now, I still mentioned the Inferior because it is still available in stores, and if you can find it on a clearance price like I did for $160, it is a bargain. It is a fantastic headphone. Now, the next headphone that I want to mention is the Audio-Technica ES10. Now, this sounds very similar actually to the HD25. It perhaps is not quite as punchy, not quite as bassy as these two headphones. However, it's got these beautiful made in Japan titanium ear cups. It's got a really open, kind of spacious sound, and it does amazingly well with female vocals, so it's all around a really nice sounding headphone. Now, the drawbacks of the ES10 are, number one, the stock ear pads on the ES10 are not particularly comfortable, so I've actually replaced these with the ESW11 ear pads. They're more comfortable, they're a lot more breathable, and I do really recommend that as an upgrade. The other thing is that the ES10 is one of the more expensive headphones in this comparison, and depending on where you live, it may not be available, and it is priced differently across different regions. So if you're interested in these, just check that out first. The last headphone that I want to look at is the Beats Mixr. Now, if you watch my review on the Beats Mixers, my conclusion was actually these are a surprisingly decent sounding Beats headphone. They have definitely a very bassy sound. They're probably the bassiest headphones in this comparison, but they still have an overall a very technically capable sounding headphone. They are aggressive sounding. They're again good for kind of dance and electronic music. Now, the real drawback of the Beats Mixr is that even though the build quality is relatively good, the design of this headphone, because of the extremely strong clamping force and the way the ear pads stick against your ears, this is probably the least comfortable sounding headphone in this entire comparison. So if you are interested in these, I really do recommend you walk into a store and put them on your head and just make sure they are comfortable before you put down your money. Other than that though, I think they're actually quite decent sounding headphones. So again, these are all great sounding headphones, though they do have their own particular pros and cons to each. And I do recommend, if you are interested in any one of these, if you get a chance, just have a listen to them and just make sure that they're right for you. Now, again, I want to thank Sennheiser for loaning me a pair of these HD25s, and Audio-Technica Australia for loaning me the ES700s. Now, over the coming weeks, I'm going to start putting up some of these headphones on eBay, just because one person doesn't need this many headphones. So if you want to help me make more reviews on my channel, please bid on those listings. I'm going to put them up on Facebook over the coming weeks. So just check out my Facebook page at facebook.com/LachlanLikesAthing, and that could really help me. The other thing is, if this video has helped you, please click the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. And thanks again to everyone who's already done that, and happy listening.